And if I, Steve, just saw my friend Stacy get fired and we just became good friends for the last month, I'm gonna be wondering, am I gonna be next? What's happening to the company? Are we all gonna be fired at the end of the quarter? Like, what's going on? What up, guys? Let me scoot closer here. So it's 11:30 right now, and I am basically feeling good. I'm actually feeling good, and let me tell you why. So, as I mentioned before, I came from a weekend of basically a massive fire that would have literally consumed me like crazy, right? And I literally poured my heart in prayer and grateful that the fire was put out, because it literally sunk my heart. You have no idea. Like, it was crazy stressful. It's like stressful. And the worst part is, I came from a week of dealing with stressful situations, and then a monstrous level of stress came in. So it's just basically business. You basically get up in the morning and sometimes you have a huge fire, sometimes you have small little fires, but there's always going to be a fire you have to put out. You become a fireman in your business, a firewoman in your business, right? So basically, this is what I've been able to learn here real quick in the last week and following up to right now. My battery's about to die here, so I'm gonna try and wrap this up so I can go eat some lunch. So basically, what you wanna be able to do is look at the problem in different perspectives, right? There's some problems where you can be able to go in and tackle the situation yourself. In this, situation, maybe it's you solving the problem directly, but sometimes it might be an external problem, like a supplier, or you have to wait for certain marketing stuff to be made for you, or you have to wait for certain designs from another team member to be created. Those are external problems. When you have external problems, don't focus all your energy like this. You don't want to be like this in those external problems. You want to be more like this. Because when you're like this, you're able to look at other different perspectives. So I'm about to actually, responding to a person who sent a DM question on Instagram, and they were basically, so their business recently scaled up, and then they had to downsize after they hired a lot of new people on board. And I'm basically just gonna record what I'm gonna be responding back to them, and I hope this tip is also gonna be able to help you out as well, okay? All right, so the first thing you wanna think about is, why did you hire them, right? Did you hire them because you predict you're going to be doing better in sales? Or did you hire them because you're completely maxed out right now in your capacity? There's a difference between those two, and I'm gonna show you the consequences of each one and the benefits of each one. I'll start with the biggest problem here. If you're a startup and you project you're gonna be doing more sales, you're projecting. So if you hire new people on board and then you have to fire them 3 weeks later, it's gonna be very bad for your business, because it's gonna hurt the morale in the startup. You have to remember, the startup is all about the fire that's within the people. And if I, Steve, just saw my friend Stacy get fired and we just became good friends for the last month, I'm gonna be wondering, am I gonna be next? What's happening to the company? Are we all gonna be fired at the end of the quarter? Like, what's going on? And that's gonna hurt the morale, and that's gonna even hurt the current productivity that you already have been able to build up. You see what I'm talking about there? That can be a major problem for you, okay? So now the next thing is this, right? If you're hiring them for another purpose, and different things like that. Okay, guys, 1 second. I'm just gonna pause this video right here. I don't wanna make the vlog too long, so basically I'm gonna cut it right here, and just basically I'm gonna keep sending this dude the message and then reply back, because my battery's even dead on the camera. So yeah, basically it's kind of what I do sometimes. Sometimes I send audio clips for the DMs, bro. You never know, because I don't like typing. Oh, you caught me drinking some tea. Yeah, just like, so yeah, actually this tea, I made it at 4:30 in the morning. Finally getting to it. It's like 7:34 right now. And I had to go warm it. I'm probably gonna have to go warm it again. But anyway, besides that point, basically this morning there was just a bunch of stuff that came up, right? So this whole week, the whole theme has been pushing the limits. And today is April 10th on Friday. So I'm just gonna do a small little update, because I have so many things I have to do today on Friday, and I haven't even fully gotten started on even 2% of the daily goals, because in the morning, there was a little mini fire I had to put out in the business world, always. And basically I had to take care of that. It was basically taking care of just a little bit of miscommunication, which usually happens a lot in business or in life, basically. So I'm gonna be handling and tackling that. But other than besides that, this week has been fantastic. I have been able to do what normally takes me a month to do, and I've been able to do it in basically a week, okay? And I cannot wait to be able to break it all down at the end of the video in detail. But for now, let me get back in here and let's keep hustling. All right, let's get it. Peace out. Let's talk more later. So when I got some grapes, huh? Gotta get some grapes. Keep on hustling. I do.
Because I think they have the better chance. So it's not so much about going, it's highlight. It's not so much about writing 20 pages of something. It's about, hey, this is what I'm thinking, more high level, but detail. And then we can be able to discuss that in a better way. Because that should be able to help us know that, okay, this is how we move forward.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be able to help us to really be able to expand things and really start to get to more clients, and then also be able to make sure that when we get a big client, like we have a good step-by-step way things can expand within that client and that organization. All right, y'all, let's get this episode wrap up done. Nah, I'm just playing. Okay, so all right, guys, so basically it's the end of the week. It's actually not the end of the week, it's Sunday. End of the week was already end of the week, but now it's the beginning of a new week, and I just want to basically wrap up the whole week that's been going on as far as pushing the limits and stuff like that. And it was actually pretty dope that, as you know, one of the calls, not really calls, but an audio I sent to one of the persons who had a question on Instagram about, you know, starting they have a business and they were scaling very high and they had to hire new people on, and he was basically asking, like, you know, they hired too many people too fast and they had to like let go of some people. And I kind of made an audio clip recording of that, so I'm just going to show that with some b-roll in the background. So basically from that video there, it went very well with this week's theme as well. And then also with the Hyrec Tech meeting that we had today with the team and everything else, it went so very well with that. And I'm pretty sure you already pretty much basically watched the meeting and the portion I really want you guys to go into. So now I want to give you guys a quick summary here on basically this journey of pushing the limits, right? It's gonna be like 10xing the limits part 1. Because this week was about setting up the foundation. Next week is actually about to be the implementation. And the whole goal is like for me to basically do what I normally do in an entire week. I mean, what I normally do in an entire like 2 months, I want to be able to do that in just 1 week. I know it's crazy, but I'm gonna break down what basically the whole strategy is right now, okay? So basically the whole strategy is this, right? The whole strategy is basically automation and delegation. Automation and delegation. So the first thing is with automation, anything that can be able to be done systematically, either it can be through software or whatever, or through an individual, you want to automate those stuff. You want to basically take things you do on a daily basis that you always do daily or you always do weekly that takes up a lot of your time. Try to find ways to automate that. Now the second part is this. If you're running a business, right, you want to be able to find a way to expand your time, right? If you find out you do 40% of your time every day, it's something you can be able to train someone else or hire a person who has good experience in that and have them take over that piece and portion of that work. That is one way you can be able to optimize and expand. Now this is the other beautiful thing about being able to, like, for me to be able to do what I normally do in 2 months, in a week, it means I cannot get to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Because there's a strategy where people focus on like, hey, I want to work less hours and I want to do the same output. There's that strategy. For me, it's more like I want to be able to basically do way more. And I'm still cool with hustling 70 hours, 80 hours a week. I love it. I enjoy the game. But I'm looking at how can I be able to make sure when I put in 80 hours, I can be able to get 200 hours out of it. You know, the value that comes out of it at the end of the day, I want to multiply my time. Now, this whole last week has been basically hiring people and getting people on board. Now, the one video I answered back for the person who asked me a question on Instagram, they hired too many people too fast and they had to fire people afterwards. So the only time you want to implement this strategy or you want to start looking into this is basically when you're completely maxed out. And when you know that when you hire those people on board, you're gonna have the money, the stipend, to be able to make sure that they're gonna get paid, and you're gonna have more work for them. You're gonna have consistency for them. So you do not want to use a strategy for your business and hire too many people too fast, and it's gonna end up creating a bad morale if you have to let go of people. So you want to make sure, and here's the other thing that my dad really taught me, you want to make sure you can afford them during a time period where you cannot, your business is not doing as many sales. Because if you don't pay that person for like a month or for 2 months, and now your sales are doing well again, they might go and do something else, and they might not have enough time for you. So you really want to make sure that when you bring people on board and you find someone who's really good at what they do and they're really helping you a lot and they're experts, do not lose them. So that's why you want to make sure that you do not take on too much when you're doing this whole expansion strategy, okay? Now, the other thing is this, right? So the first thing, as I mentioned before, is automation, right? Then the next part is automation and what was the part? It was like automation curation. Delegation. Shoot, I can't believe it. My brain's like running around because I got to prepare this weekly goals and daily goals for tomorrow. Sorry. Automation and delegation. Now, delegation, as you know, is basically you give someone a task and they handle that task for you. Now, the one thing you want to do when you're delegating is you tell them how to do it a few times and you let them do it. Let them be in charge of that. You want people to take ownership. Okay, when you're giving someone delegation, don't think about delegation like, hey, did you do 1? Did you do 2? Did you do 3? Okay, hey, we have more. 1, 2, 3. No. If you want to really expand your time, you have to have that person take ownership of that time. So let's say, for example, you're training a customer rep to come on your company to manage customer support. You do not want a person who's just like, what's the Q&A? Like, if a person asks for this question, what do I say back? Oh, wait. What if a person asks this question? What do I say back? You want a person who has experience in that industry, that when they do get a question, they're like, oh yeah, this is what I tell them back. Boop, send. And the only time they're gonna ask you a question like, hey, what do I send to this person? It's when a new problem, here's the key word, a new problem arises that they're not familiar with. But you do not want that person that every single detail is a new problem. That's not going to help you, okay? You do not want to delegate every single thing. You want to leave them to delegate for themselves. You're just hiring them to now delegate that part of your work, that part of your business, that part of your life. That is the whole point here. So basically, this last week, I ended up hiring, let me just count off on top of my list, off the top of my head. 1, 2, 3, 4. I hired 4 new people this week. And I already talked about some of them earlier in the episode, and basically they're going to be doing a lot of the different things I normally do, right? And they're going to be helping with that whole part of automation and delegation. And basically this last week was about creating the tasks and basically getting them into their roles, and that was a lot of a headache because getting people trained in, not really necessarily trained in, but getting them to be in their comfort zone where they can do things themselves, that was the whole part. And when I was hiring these new individuals, the one thing I really loved, some of them were like, hey, Steve, you're using outdated systems. In our industry standards, we actually use this software, and I had to go purchase new softwares that they can be able to use to do even better work. And I'm actually talking to one of the people I hired for product research, and they were like, hey, do you also need help with the customization of the website? As I mentioned before, I like doing customization of websites myself, but this person is like, dude, I can handle that for you. So I was like, all right, bet, send me your portfolio and then we'll talk about it. So like, he's about to also help with something else that usually can take me about 7 hours or 8 hours to do, and I have like 7 of those tasks I have to do this week. So if he can be able to help me, hold on one second, what's 7 times 8? I told you I can't do multiplications. That's gonna save me 56 hours, man. I'm gonna, like, just by having him do that is gonna allow me to do something that might have taken me 2 or 3 weeks or a month to do, because of course I don't do the customization of websites all week long. I do other different tasks. So I delegate my daily goals to meet those standards like that. So by basically having him do that is gonna help me tremendously. And that's basically what this whole episode was about. It's about that expanding of your business while reducing the workload, okay? And when you reduce the workload, you're able to expand on the bigger vision. You're able to expand on some things that are gonna be, you wanna get to the point where when you take an action, it's a freaking domino effect, okay? When you take an action as when you're expanding your business, you want it to be a domino effect. So when you're growing your company, you don't want it to be where that for us to grow 10 times, I'm gonna have to put in 10 times the amount of hours. You wanna be able to be like, if we need to grow 10 times, when I make a decision, it's gonna ripple throughout the whole company, like, cause one person is focused on one area, when they finish a task, it ripples to the next person, ripples to the next person. So what ends up happening is that you end up multiplying your time and your effort 10 times over through that domino, because that domino effect is like little tiny pieces all connecting to make a huge wave of movement. Dang, that made so much sense. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna end this video right there. I don't wanna make this vlog too long. In the next vlog, this following week, we're basically not gonna be doing the pushing the limits part 2 and basically see how things ended up going and how the whole pushing the limits part really worked out. But I've always, by the way, this is not the first time I'm doing this. I've done this in the past. It's just that right now, this year, I'm about to go off, okay? I'm about to basically go off. I want to do what I'm able to. I want to be able to do 3 months of work that used to take me a year to do. Like, that's kind of the mindset I'm on. And that's what it means to really expand rapidly, okay? You want to be able to bend the laws of time. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. A peace to the out, and catch you on the flip. Make sure to subscribe. Catch you on the flip.